Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming, and on today's episode, we're going to discuss Gearbox's new game, Borderlands 3, and how much fun we've had playing it so far. We're also going to discuss the new open beta from Call of Duty that is now cross-platform that you can start playing today. But more importantly, guys, at the end of the video, we are going to announce what our new giveaway is going to be. So make sure that you stay tuned, pay attention to the end, so that you can find out what that's going to be. But as always, guys, there's all that and more, so if you want to hang out, grab yourself a beer, and let's talk games. Welcome gamers to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We are on episode 21. My name is Craig Perales, and joining me is the combat champion himself.
Right you are, Greg.
Oh, we did it! I like this shirt, and I gotta ask you, Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, overall best series of all time.
Mortal Kombat.
And then second?
Street Fighter.
Oh, Tekken comes in the bottom?
I think Tekken has some pretty cool things, and some of the cutscenes I've seen are pretty cool, but I've never been super huge into it, so I kind of have no clue where that story's going. But I also love M. Bison.
Oh yeah, you ain't fucking with them Bison.
Especially with that Raw Julia,
oh. Wait, what a delivery, what a sound piece of performance. But guys, let's jump into our first main topic of the day, and that is Borderlands 3. So, Andrew, before we dive into it, let me just state a little bit of facts here. So the game just came out on September 13th. That is now on PS4, Xbox One, PC. One quote that kind of came out that's kind of getting looked at and eyeballed funny is that Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford has came out and he, on PC only, has stated that this is the best, it has the best numbers in Gearbox history. I was trying to put that in the context. There's not much to compare that against besides a few smaller projects in past Borderlands.
When you release dog shit like fucking Aliens, Colonel Millennium.
Right? Yeah. And one of the other things was, I guess he was saying that on the PC launch day at the peak concurrent players, right now BL3 has twice as many players as BL2 has. And that's kind of to be expected. It's been, quite some years since it came out. So.
Well, there's probably a lot. I wonder if it would be a lot more if they hadn't put out maybe that didn't they just do that free DLC for Borderlands 2 not too long ago that was new?
Yeah, they did the. Are you talking about the remastered 1 and 2 that came out that kind of got everyone hyped on it again, or?
No, I thought they put out a separate piece of DLC that was free to download if you had the game or something like that.
Oh, I'd be curious on that.
Don't quote me on that. Maybe I misread it, but I'm pretty sure they put out just recently within the past year a separate piece of DLC for that game that got people playing and
back into it. Yeah, and that's the thing. Once when a game is great, or at least good, in my opinion, it's a great game. It's expected to be that the sequels are going to warrant attention and get more gameplay. So I just wanted to address that. I thought that was kind of funny, and especially because the info that he was basing it on was just on PC, so he wasn't even doing it on any console. So, Andrew, the game came out. You've got a chance to play it. Your overall thoughts before you dive too far into a positive or negative, your overall look at it so far, and then we'll dive a little deeper into it.
I think it's a sound looter shooter. I like it. I like, again, playing with somebody else. I have a lot more fun playing with somebody else than I do by myself. Playing by myself is alright, but I find myself putting on a podcast or something like that, trying to listen to it, but then again, shutting it off once I get to the part of the story. So it's definitely a game you could cruise through.
Yeah, it's definitely a very cruisable game, but I'm with you in the aspect that, I said on, I don't know what episode I said before, but this is a game I will wait to play with people because it needs to be played with other people, at least in my opinion. And I've played with quite a few people that I haven't really jumped online and played with in a long time, Duck and Beers Boys 928.
I think this is our first game that we played together.
Yeah, it's the first one we've jumped on in a long time. So how did you want to approach this first? Because I had it in terms of issues that people are having with it and then our kind of positive feed. Was there anything you wanted to add on it at all before we kind of tackle it that way?
No, I think that'll kind of be fine. I don't really have too much else to add without going into how I feel about the game, really, because everything else is just general observation. But that leads into you know, do I love this? Do I hate that?
Right, yeah. Okay, so the issues, especially a couple of articles that I was reading, is the game came out Kind of buggy. The first thing before we get into like the bugs is PC players are kind of really upset because I didn't know this either because I don't really buy anything on PC. Is that the game's locked behind a 6-month exclusivity deal with Epic. So if you're
with the Epic Game Store,
so you can't buy it anywhere else on PC except that. So if you're a PC player, jump in the comments. I'm curious. Does that rub you the wrong way? Is that a big deal? I'm not really sure because what else is there to buy it on? Isn't like Steam the other big one?
There's Steam. I don't think anyone really uses the Microsoft like Game Store thing, whatever it is. I forget what that's called too, but that's like a separate thing. And so I mean, Steam's usually just the biggest one though. So
and yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm kind of curious of what warranted a 6-month deal with that, but
those are the same people though who are like, oh well, good. Who cares that PlayStation got this exclusive for like a year, or they get the exclusive content on Call of Duty? Who cares? But then when the same thing turns around and happens to you, you don't like it because this is kind of really a game generally either comes a lot later or the same date for PC. Never like 6 months. I feel is like very short.
And the funny thing is clearly if this game is now double what Borderlands 2 was, it didn't stop anybody from buying it on because that report is only from PC, so. Only PC players bought it, so clearly you went out and bought it on Epic anyway. So
yeah, it must be doing something right.
The other big thing, and this is kind of where the negative side of this pops into, is that PS4 is having big issues, and the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X are having frame rate drops constantly. They're having that in resolution and in performance mode, which are two things you can switch on your settings. Another big one was that the base consoles are having a huge issue trying to deliver this content. I
can't even imagine trying to play that on a base Xbox.
Oh, man, yeah.
Just because there's so much going on at one time?
Yeah, there's so much going on to where... And I'll get to this in a second, so let me just run through it. So there's lag in the menus, right? This is a game where you're constantly going back to your backpack. You're constantly checking the map. People are reporting issues on that. The big one I personally had is freezing. I've gone into other people's games when it's trying to... yesterday, when me and you were playing... Remember, I had to quit the game. I had to open it back up because my loading screen kept freezing. So that's been happening. And the one you brought up to me the other day was you said you did a mission and you thought you did it. It was gone. You had to redo it. Lost progress and cloud saves and corrupted save files are a big thing that's happening.
Yeah,
so how'd that affect you?
I forgot about that. Yeah, so I completed this mission, got all the way through it and everything, and thought it saved. I was able to move around. I was on to the next thing. I even played a little bit longer too to maybe trigger like an autosave state or something. And it put me back. I mean, it wasn't the end of the world. It was like 10, 15 minutes, but still, it was inconvenient and annoying.
Minutes, yeah.
Especially too when you have to sit there and like watch cutscene or like wait for enemies to come, because that's kind of the thing. That's kind of where it got me, and that's what was more annoying. It's one of those levels where you kill enemies in waves. So in between the waves, people are talking and doing shit. So I'm like, fuck, man, I got to sit here and wait while I'm following this person.
And the other thing is you can't skip the cutscenes. Like, so even if you've played this game and you're doing your second run, your third run, trying a new character, you have to sit through all the dialogue. So that's kind of rubbed people the wrong way. And the biggest one across all the platforms, console platforms, I don't know if PC had an issue with this, is all the split screen co-op is, like, they're saying it's almost unplayable. At least when it came out. I don't know if there's a patch for it yet, because I haven't experienced all this. I just kind of want to touch on all the issues that it's had. Which kind of brings it to a point is, how was none of this stuff caught before? How did it get to release date if every system is having a problem?
It's just modern day culture. I mean, they'll put out a game now, patch it up later. As long as it's good enough to get a high score and just these bugs that, they suck and something bad could happen. But if we could patch it later and still get like a 8 to a 9, why not?
Yeah, because that was the other thing. This game right now is the best-selling UK game, best boxed sold game. And which is weird that it's all the information I could find was based on UK. I couldn't find anything on US.
I'll actually say I had one other issue. I didn't look it up online to see like that everyone else is having issues. The only other issue I had is so again, it's a looter shooter. You know, you get all your different weapons and stuff. They all have different perks, abilities, whatever. But you can see if it's like a pistol, a shotgun, like what it breaks down into, like cannon, sniper. That I was picking a gun, like my pistol. And then over here, what I was comparing it to, it would say they were all pistols. So I didn't know, without equipping the gun, seeing if it's a shotgun, a cannon, because they look fucking weird. There's some guns that looks like a shotgun, and it's like a charged pulse rifle or something like that. So it would just say they were all pistols. So and it did that to me for like a while. And this was when I was playing by myself. And I actually haven't had it happen since I started playing online with you and stuff like that. So at first it was really happening to me. I was like, this is fucking stupid because one, I'm not familiar with the game. That I can't, the gun has like a 30 round magazine. I don't know if that's single shot. I don't know if that's fully automatic. I don't know if I have to charge this fucking thing and it shoots 5 bullets at a time or something. So that was something that kind of got me at first. I was like, this is fucking stupid. Like, I don't get it and I don't understand.
Yeah, it's weird that there's that many glitches, which, like I said, maybe that's all patched by now. When we've been playing it, I've only noticed the freezing on the screen, so I'm hoping that a lot of this stuff is fixed.
Actually, the only other thing I did have is right at the beginning, before you talk to the main
Lilith?
chick who leads you around, Lilith. After you do like the first mission, and you know how it tells you to equip a grenade? Mm-hmm. I had equipped a grenade, but it kept telling me to equip a grenade mod to like the character. And so I was like, what the fuck? And I kept trying to do everything, and it would not fucking go. I was Googling it online. I was watching someone else's like playthrough. I was in a party with your brother, dude. I was getting pissed. I was like, dude, this game is fucking stupid. Like, I'm
broken, trash.
I can't fucking continue. I can't do anything because it kept telling me to go to one of those things that like can warp you around and stuff like that.
Like the fast travel
and
stuff.
even though I had a grenade equipped, I couldn't fucking do anything. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna go to where I think this chick is because it didn't even have her position correctly. And so then it updated her position, but it still said equip a grenade mod. As soon as I got close enough to her, then it checked the box and let me talk to her and say like, oh, all right, whatever. So and that was after. So that was I had quit while standing in front of her. But when it spawns you back in, it only spawns you at a certain point. So it put me kind of not way, way away from her, but like a 5 minute, not 5 minute, like a minute's worth of running.
Right.
So it
out
was
of the way.
Yeah. So it wasn't the end of the world, but had I just fucking done it right then and there, I would have,
Right. You didn't have to go through all that. So it is very odd that a game this kind of anticipated is having this much issue. Like you were saying, I couldn't imagine playing this on a standard Xbox or a PS4 when it's having this many problems.
I'll say the dips don't make it unplayable. Like these negatives have not made anything unplayable for me. Like I got mad at it, but as soon as I got it figured out, I was like, all right, hopefully nothing else like that. And cool bar, so far nothing else has been like that. So I wouldn't say like, even though, unless you're gonna nitpick every little thing, that these dips, which when there's a million fucking things on screen, it can happen. It doesn't stop my enjoyment of the game. The game doesn't come to a fucking standstill.
Right,
it might just go a little bit slower, but I'm perfectly in control. I'm not getting jacked up by all these things because I can't move correctly or something like that.
Yeah, so again, take it how you will. Some people are really, really picky when it comes to their frames per second. Some people aren't.
I mean, in their defense, it should run a lot better.
Should. Well, because here's the other big thing. PC players are, and I don't know what I was reading, if it was like IGN or something. They had a pumped up computer that should be not having any issues, and it was having issues. So it's just something in there that's causing problems. But past the problems, Andrew, let's move into like the goodness of this game. So this is your first really enjoyable Borderlands. What's standing out to you? What are you liking the most?
Actually, it's the very first one I've ever played.
You didn't even play 1 or 2? It turned you off by the cel-shade graphics and...
I don't know. I don't think they were ever really on my radar, and then it was just one of those games that I felt like, I don't know, because when it blew up, like so many people were talking about it that I kind of didn't get it, so I didn't like it, and I was like, oh, it's just one of those games.
And then I made you play it?
It's just overhyped, yeah. Yeah, so you made me play it, but... He's
liking it. He's having a good time.
I like it. I like the stories. I like the villains so far. That's actually kind of my favorite. It's like their dynamic. I think they're
Troy and Tyrene. They are the twins.
Yeah,
Basil, twins.
I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah,
and
cool
again,
concept.
Getting back into something like this, like what we talked about before, with especially because Anthem fucking sucked. Like I didn't like it at all. Like, but it gave me that craving for a looter shooter, and then I did Division 2. That came and went, and haven't had anything like that since. And now getting back, because I'm not playing the Division beyond the scope of what it released with. That's not my style of game, except for stuff like Call of Duty or Battlefield, where you're playing online to other people, not progressing a story or building this character. So again, the same thing with this. I will finish it all the way through, but I'm not going to keep going with the DLC. But either way, that loot 'em and shoot 'em is just addictive. It's got me straight into it. I will say for me, it's a little kind of overwhelming though with how much different shit you can do. And
for a first timer, right, with all the guns, all the different guns,
because they all do so much and they have so many different effects. It's not like Destiny or The Division where it's got a couple different things that you can do and you can easily understand it. But I've also played the first versions of those games to where it's a little overwhelming, but I'm hanging in there. I'm liking it. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, one of the things I really dug, and I think we knew this from like the trailers and the early on gameplay, is I love that you can, certain guns have like an ammo switch, because I just think that there's so much that gets added to it. And if you played any of the old ones and you know that you have like your skill tree, I love now that it's not, I mean, you can play how you want. You can dedicate it into one skill tree. I like that they kind of give you encourage you to mix and match. Like I've been playing is it the Beast Tamer, Flak, and I have my pet in one, but I have my other ability in another, and I've kind of just been building out these two skill trees. You've been playing the Gunner, right?
Moe's, yeah.
Now, are you focusing on one, or are you adapted in a couple?
I have some things from the other ones, but right now I'm kind of primarily on one until I get to where I want to be, and then I'll start doing.
What are you focusing
on? Mostly like her shield. She can get like a pretty beefy
on
shield.
The mech, right? Or her?
Both.
Okay, cool.
And there's even like a thing too, like when your shield's a lot higher, your guns do like a lot more damage too.
Nice, yeah. Because mine with Flak, which I've been seeing a lot. He looks kind of like he's the go-to player for most people, because everyone I've seen playing have at least a character with him built. But I've been doing the health regen one, which is fucking sick. He can run around, gain health, and I just picked up these grenades too. When you throw them, they blast, or they're homing grenades, and when they blast them, it's 30% health regen too, dude. I mean, they've improved on the mixability, right? The billion guns and all that stuff so well that every gun is fun to find, even if it's not one that you're particularly looking for.
It's just a game that definitely always keeps you engaged too, because even in moments when you're not pulling the trigger, so like there's some guns that like blow up when you reload them. So I'll be done with my clip and I know that it blows up. So as my guy's reloading, like he just throws his gun out there, I know to turn towards like an enemy or something like that too. So even though I'm not like actively shooting, I'm still trying to hit the enemies with this thing so it'll blow up on them before he pulls out the other gun and I can start going again.
Yeah,
too.
The fact that you can just, I mean, I believe you can do it in the other one. It's been a while. I didn't jump on the remake editions. I just played them back on like 360. How fast you can just switch through your guns and then switch to the ammo kind of gives you a quick combination of just how you can hit. But I love the fact that you can just switch your missions via D-pad. It's just
no, that's like easy. Instead of having to go into a menu.
Without a menu that kind of clutters, and just takes time. It's an easy shift of a key that just goes, and then it just pops right to your map. And then the cool thing is, like, regardless of who's leading the party, if someone jumps in, he can jump. Like, you were playing, and I don't think you were at where I was at, but you could easily jump in and start playing the same mission I was, and we could
pick
it up
and because the enemies are scaled down to my level. So no, it's fun.
Game's fun, and I like that. If anyone is a big fan of the original ones, it's a lot of fan service where they're gonna pepper in a lot of those characters that you know from the old ones. So if you played Tales of the Borderlands, Reese is in it. Moxie's in it. So that's a lot of fun. I wanted to ask you this: how does Sanctuary hold up as like a hub kind of area where you can
get lost a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, like because there's so many different floors and whatever to do. Like I have no fucking clue where I'm going until like I'll see like a certain marker and I'm like, okay, now I remember this. So maybe it's just 'cause I haven't ran around it enough.
Yeah, this is the in-orbit spaceship essentially that you can go to kind of collect your thoughts and cash it in and build. So I'm just curious how it stands up to like maybe how a Destiny hub is like that platform city and all that stuff. So
I kind of like the other ones
two-tiered.
I kind of like the other ones better just because it's a lot simpler. I'm not like lost and running around looking for whatever. I mean, this one, but then again, this one has so much in one spot that, it's not like I can hate it for it, They have to do something. It can't just be this big fucking open area that I'm running across back and forth because that would piss me off even more, so.
So before we close it down, is there anything else you want to add to it? Anything else that kind of caught your eye? Anything else that you recommend for the kids out there that maybe haven't played it?
No, I think it's a great game, and I definitely think, if you have a group of friends or something like that you guys are looking for like a new game to play, this is definitely something that I'd recommend going out there, just get it together, and just blast through it. It's a pretty cool game. I'm actually really enjoying it.
How are you liking all the dialogue and stuff? Do you enjoy the cartoony aspect of it, or does it make fun of itself too much?
I thought it would annoy me at first, and I think it's like fine now.
Because that's the other gripe I see. Is some people are like, oh, this is too cartoony, I'm like, it's Borderlands. You knew what it was the day you were buying it. So the fact that anyone was looking at this game as being this awesome narrative with this crazy cool storyline, maybe, but the fact that you're hating on it is like, it was Borderlands. You knew it was gonna be cartoony. You know it was gonna be goofy.
No, but maybe that's one of the things too is why I didn't play before. Is I had that perception that it's way too fucking cartoony and I wasn't gonna like it. That it doesn't really bug me at all that much when I'm playing. I think it's in a zaniness in a different taste. Yeah.
It's just kind of reminds me of like a comic book that you're playing. So that's it, guys. Go check out Borderlands 3. I mean, glitches aside, because everything that we're saying is a patch, right? Everything that's a problem with the game is a patch away from being completely playable and 100% enjoyable. Everything that we're saying is good about the game is already in the game right now when you're playing it. So
I would say too, I mean, even if you're not a day one on this, I would get it at some point, maybe pick it up on a good sale, because I think it's worth playing. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. So
what are you up to? What level are you?
Right now I think I'm like 14.
Nice. I think I right above the 20s or so. And
Still got a long way to go.
Yeah, and it's a what, 25-30 hour campaign if you're just doing storylines, because that's the other thing. The game has a lot to offer to go back and do. So go check it out. But Andrew, we're also here to talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare beta that is now out. So this, guys, is Infinity Ward's version of their new Call of Duty. So the pre-order for September 19th and 20th, you can now do it for the PC and the Xbox One. If you pre-order the game, it's free for the PS4. Next week on the 20th through the 23rd, it'll be free for PS4 players, free for PC players, and available to Xbox Gold players. Now, Andrew, we got our hands on it. You were playing it while I was working. Walk me through it. What's going on with it?
I actually feel like it's a very beefy beta. There's like there's a lot of game modes on there. I mean, there's
detailed, really detailed.
Yeah, I haven't had the only issue that I will say on there, and if you're finding it, maybe it'll work for you, but probably not, because you're not going to hear this maybe not hear this in time
until it's over.
But
when it's over,
after each match, when you're playing with somebody, the only issue we found is that you have to back out. Someone else in your crew has to start the lobby again, and then you join their game, and then you're able to find a game. Except for when you're doing the gunfight, the 2v2s. When you're doing the 2v2s, it usually just throws you right into another one. But the other ones, it'll just say 0% matchmaking for us. Just back out and join again. It's inconvenient at best. But other than that, it's not like I've had issues with like frame rate. It's not. It runs crazy.
It runs smooth.
It runs crazy good for a beta. A cross-platform beta with these other consoles too. I don't think.
I said, did we figure out what the deal was with enabling or disabling PC?
You can enable or disable if you're playing cross-platform in there. I'm playing on Xbox. I haven't seen an option in there though to where you can turn, unless it's on by default and they didn't give you the option to turn it off, to where you can't play with people who are using mouse and keyboards. And so I don't, unless I'm just that bad, but I felt like there were some matches where I was just getting absolutely fucking smashed by people that were making like incredible shots. And it could just be people that, but there's people who play Call of Duty every day of their life. I don't play it every day of my life, so. But either way, that's the one thing I want to know for sure, if that is on or off, if I can turn that off. Because I would prefer to have that off. You know? As long as everyone's using a controller, then I don't care.
It's a little fair, because we were sitting there for a minute trying to see if we were missing something, if it was maybe restricted that the beta couldn't and the game will. So if you can, if you guys know the exact way to do it, let us know, because
they have said through it. They have said in final product there is an option, and you can willingly, if you want to play controller, jump into a mouse and keyboard. Why you would want to, I don't know, but there is
kudos.
It will sort them out. So.
The other thing I wanted to bring up to you guys' attention, because I didn't know this, is if you are playing the beta and you can get as far as level 10 before September 23rd when the beta shuts down, they're giving a reward, which is they're calling the Hammer Shotgun. So kind of gives you an incentive to see the beta through, right? Don't just jump on and play a couple of games and go, yeah, I like it, maybe I'll pick it up. It gives you an end goal. Yeah,
it doesn't even take that long.
Give all the modes out and get there and get that Hammer Shotgun.
It doesn't even take that long. I think I'm at like level 9 right now.
And how do you like the new mechanics? Because I played it before you came over, and then I saw you play it, and I wasn't saying anything. The door mechanic, right? That kind of it's one of those things. It's like it's just completely as simple as it is. It's a definitely new feature that any COD player is just gonna be like, oh yeah.
It throws me off way more than it should, because I always play. I'm huge into Battlefield. You can open and shut doors for years. I'm huge into fucking PUBG, and that's all about opening and closing doors. You know, close your door behind you so people can't run in after you. But this, I'm just so used to Call of Duty that you can't open a fucking door. It would just be open.
Right, dead space.
There's tons of times where I'm just like hiding, but I think I'm behind a wall and I'm aiming, waiting, because I know there's a dude ahead of me, and then someone to the left will just open the door and I'm just standing there like a fucking idiot.
I looked up and I was watching, because when you watch the kill cam, you were running by and the guy just clicked the door open, and I was just like, oh
yeah, I'll be hauling ass around.
Now you almost gotta stop and just make sure. And
there's times now too, like where I'll set up the angle now to where I can see left lane, right lane, and the door too, because I know that the door is a thing.
So I wanted to tell you guys, so the modes that there are returning from any previous Call of Duties are you got Team Deathmatch, you got Domination, you got Headquarters, you got Domination 20 players, you got Headquarters 20 players.
And this is just for the beta, of course.
And for the beta. And then they're letting you try out the 2 new modes, Cyber Attack and Gunfight. Now, Gunfight, as we previously talked about, that's the 2v2.
Yeah, the 2v2, that's very fun.
What's Cyber Attack?
Cyber Attack, it's pretty much like Search and Destroy. There's like a bomb, you plant it. The defuse time is a lot quicker, so you can't just sit there and camp out a bomb and wait for somebody while they fiddle with like a detonator. But the big kicker to it, and what makes it different, I think what makes it a lot more fun, is that you can revive your dead teammates. Yep, so when they die, cool. You can see where their body is, and you'll see a cross over it. And it takes a little bit of time. I don't think it's too long. I don't think it's too quick. But you can revive somebody. I would have to go back now, because it tells you it'll be like 4v2, 4v1. I don't think if you revive somebody that it'll say 4v2. I think you just bring them back. I don't quote me on that. I don't remember. I kind of wasn't thinking about it. Now that's something I should check.
Did it affect the KD total? Is that what you're saying, right?
Oh yeah, that's why I asked earlier. No, it doesn't. It just stacks an extra kill on top of it.
Okay, gotcha. So you can get 2 kills on the same guy. If you down him once, he revives and down him again.
Yeah, and so instead of being so in one round, if it's the very first round of the game, you could technically have one 0 kills, 2 deaths versus just the 1 death.
Nice. So overall, this beta, guys, like Andrew's saying, it's beefy, it's polished. Outside of a back out glitch when you're doing the menu, we played quite a few matches. There was no issue with it. Anything else you want to shout out for it?
I'm actually really excited for it, and I haven't been in Call of Duty in kind of a while. I usually play every iteration, but I'm not really excited for it. But this one, it feels great. It plays great. Most importantly, too, it's always kind of important, is it sounds great. Like, when I'm shooting these guns, it does not sound like I'm shooting like a little popcorn maker anymore. Like, it sounds like it's a big gun.
Yeah.
And when you're handling them, too, it feels a lot better. It feels a lot more... I guess
weight behind them, right?
It feels a lot more weighted. It's not like I'm just running around with this AK just like... like a little Thompson or something. Like, it feels like it's really like popping in there, especially like when you fire the deagle. I don't know if you got a chance. Like, fire that gun. It sounds great, but you like really feel the weight when you're like shooting.
Yeah, I made sure I played all the available ones, because there's a lot of stuff in there that's locked, right? Even your kill streaks, you only get, I think only 3 are available to you, unless. Again, we started playing it today, so I don't know if maybe you get further than level 1, you can start unlocking that stuff via the beta. But if not, I mean, I played everything that was on there, and even the beginning stuff just felt good. So this looks good for Call of Duty, man. This is a return to form. This is kind of, let's drop the space boots, let's drop the war on walls, even though some games like Titanfall live for that stuff. This looks like Call of Duty's moving in the right way. I think this is going to be... I think it's going to do a lot of good things for
I think
Activision
it's going to be a good return.
Ward.
Yeah, it's going to be a good return to form. I don't think it's ever going to capture those glory days, because I feel like that stuff is kind of...
as close as it's going to get, though, right?
Yeah, I feel like that stuff is kind of gone. But
if you weren't there, you missed it.
I'm excited, and I'm in for day one.
Especially if this is anyone's first entry. I mean, imagine all the young bucks out there. This is their first Call of Duty that they're getting into. What a good shooter to get into in a world.
What if they hate it, though, because all they're used to is all the campy shit?
Yeah, so that's up for debate. So, anything else you want to shout out for it?
Hey, get it while you can. I mean, if anything, go place your pre-order. $5, why not get the beta? If not, play it at least when it's free. It wouldn't hurt, especially if you haven't been into Call of Duty in a while. I would say jump in, because I'm back in wholeheartedly. So.
Yeah, this is definitely a game we're going to be getting, and we're going to do a lot of gameplay on that. So, guys, that is the end of our first 2 stories. That is Borderlands 3, that is Call of Duty Modern Warfare beta. So make sure you guys check those out. So, Andrew, with all that being said, let's move into some riffs. Would you like to go first, or would you like to go second?
I would like to go first.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sound off.
My first riff isn't exactly gaming related, but it kind of is, and I just want to throw it in because
it's gaming on a gaming podcast.
It's very important, and it can be gaming related.
Okay.
But Ash Ketchum is finally Pokemon World Champion after 22 years.
Oh, that's gaming news to me.
So from the very first Pokemon game, he's always had the worst luck, always loses, but now in the Sun and Moon series, he's finally won. And it popped up on my newsfeed the other day. I was like, no way. And I was like, he hasn't really won. I was like, I could have swore he did at some point, but now that I'm remembering back, I'm like, no, he never did. He always came close and lost.
And then went to a new region and started getting new badges.
Yeah, so he's finally champion.
So this is via the show?
Yeah.
I want to watch that episode. I want to see who his lineup was. And what crazy new rules
I heard it's pretty good. I haven't watched it, especially because it's like Sun and Moon. Oh yeah, Pikachu's in its thing. I didn't recognize like the other.
I hope he has like Ice Sandshrew.
I haven't played Pokemon in so long, so I didn't recognize a lot of the other names. But yeah, it's on the new Sun and Moon anime that I was thinking about. I'm like, oh, maybe I should jump back in, and maybe that'll kind of get me into the games.
Yeah, segue back into it. I like that. I'm actually going to go look for that after this. So mine's first riff is, and I know we're kind of beating a dead horse here, but I'm bringing back up Stadia. Stadia's Founder Edition, if you pre-ordered it, has officially sold out. And what they're doing is they're releasing a new one that's called the Stadia Premier Edition. So the original one had the Chromecast, the black controller, the limited edition black controller, the 3-month Stadia, and first dibs on like a gamer tag name. The new one is giving you a limited edition white controller, same Chromecast, same 3-month, and they're giving you, and I thought the original one did too, but maybe they're not, the full Destiny 2 package. So I think it's, I mean, take what you will with Stadia, if it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. The fact that they ran out of pre-orders.
I don't get how you sell out of an all-digital product, but okay.
Well, in terms of, because you got to remember, it's also limited to controller. So you can't just...
They can't make more controllers?
Apparently not. They had to go white, right? They ran out of the black. So Stadia, so far, is still moving in the right direction. Whether or not it'll be a hit, we'll see. You want to move into my... Oh, what do you got? You got one more? Or did I say yours?
No, actually, I have two.
Two?
Yeah, I got two more. All
right.
One, and who knows what it'll lead to, but it's an interesting conversation to have, is that a French court...
you read that? Yeah.
Has actually ruled that you should be able to technically resell digital licenses.
Yeah.
So via Steam.
Yeah.
Is what that court cases gets. It's a whole long thing if you want to go and read it. A lot of complicated stuff. But I thought it brought up the more interesting question about what that does to the market.
Oh, it changes the landscape.
Because, one, what does that do to people selling it digitally as far as Xbox, PlayStation, whoever, and how do you compete with that? Because technically the only reason you get a game cheaper when you buy a game from GameStop or whoever secondhand is because it is used. Mm-hmm. Technically, it's a digital license that's not used. How many people are going to try to beat a game, resell it for $45, $55, $50, undercutting all those other markets when it's like brand new like that? How do you even sell something like that to where it's only stuck on another person?
I don't want to think of the legalities.
And then is that going to mess up the market? Is that going to oversaturate it? Because you're going to see all these game prices like Call of Duty is a game that generally does not go down in price for like years. So now is it going to be a used copy of Call of Duty is just at 50 and the new is at 55 because no one's willing to drop it down to whatever?
It's crazy to think about because now is everybody an independent seller, and do you get the money back via an account on your game console?
And that's the thing.
Does it stay as credit that you can use?
Does the developer get any sort of credit because now it's a digital license versus like a physical product?
Yeah, I've still never gotten how digital still costs just the same amount as a physical. When
I don't either, and I don't know how you sell it now secondhand.
Yeah, because the other thing I was reading on that is that so the court. And this is all, it was UFC something, and it wasn't having to do with the UFC we know.
Yeah, it's like UFC like Twire.
Yeah, the courts agreed with them that they could do that, but they still get to counter it. So we still got a lot to deal with.
Yeah, they're going to peel the hell out of it.
Yeah, this is going to be huge. So,
I mean,
yeah.
As of mine,
was just reading that.
Do you think you should be able to resell a digital license?
No.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
I'm all for like consumer rights and everything, but that's as far as consumer rights you can get. But I just don't understand how you make a working market out of that.
I don't. If and again, I haven't thought it all the way through because it's coming off the top of my head. I don't think you should be able to sell it person to person. If anything, there should be a store that you sell it your digital back to. So if you bought it for $50, you can sell it back for $20, $30 credit, and now somebody else can buy it.
But then that's the same as GameStop. Why do you sell it back to them for less when it's not used? It's a digital license. That's the big thing that I've seen a lot of people say, like, oh, that'd be cool because now I could sell my game again for $50 and get the value. And I'm like, that's the thing, though, is you don't, how do you get that value?
Yeah, there's no profit margin there if it's just tit for tat.
So I don't know. That's a whole other big thing.
Cross that bridge.
But it's an interesting topic to think about.
Very interesting. I'm glad you brought it up because I was reading it and I didn't write it down. The last one I wanted to do was, and I'm sure it'll be a topic of ours, for next week, is the PlayStation 4 State of Play was revealed that it's coming out on September 24th, and that starts at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So if you guys want to catch that, see what Sony's been up to since they've been quiet at a lot of things. They had a presentation at Gamescom and stuff or was it Tokyo Game Show? They popped up at one of them. But if you're trying to see what Sony's up to, this will be the way to do it. Being Andrew, I'm
this
sure
is
we're
our
going to
first
watch it.
new big thing.
I'm sure we're going to dive into it more next week.
There's a big, Last of Us 2 thing that they're kind of
so I want to make sure that you guys are aware of that so you can watch it and then jump in with us and talk about it. Is that all of them?
My last one, and I didn't write down the details because if anyone see, I forgot my other notebook. But in a leaked document, they're talking about how they're trying to rebrand and kind of remake E3 instead of that Game Expo thing as more like a festival. Kind of in a way.
It was 10,000 new consumer badges or
it was there's more badges and kind of being more instead of just press but not celebrity but streamer focused or things like that, inviting all these people who get that word out besides just press, so kind of more inviting everybody with more to do, and the floor layout was a lot different. I don't know, there's a whole plan.
We're going to E3 next year.
Yeah, it's a whole big thing, so I would definitely go and check that out too. So.
Yeah, it feels like a desperate move because if you're looking at E3, you know that they've been declining, but it feels like a great desperate move, right? It's a move in the right direction that doesn't just feel like...
I don't understand why it's declining, especially since I look forward to E3 every year.
We all look forward to E3 every year, but I mean, as far as who's paying for it, who's going to it, we look forward to watching it.
Yeah.
We don't look forward to packing our bags and going there for 3 days.
And that's kind of the other thing too. Yeah, dude, do I want to go sit there for fucking go through all these people?
And if you've never been there, the answer is yes. Yeah. I will do that. But imagine doing that every year for the last decade.
Yeah. Let me cry because I got a badge pass to go fucking see all this stuff early.
And how sick would it be to do an episode there? So.
Give it to me and I'll freelance for you.
Yeah, please. Any other riffs?
Oh no, that was my last one.
Okay, sweet. Then let's move into, guys, video game questions of the week. Let me pull these up here. We see all those? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so our first question comes from Mylito86, and he asks, what are your thoughts on the state of DLC content? I feel that there are a lot of examples of games that are half-baked at $60 and are not complete until you have paid $100+. What do you think the acceptable cost to initial launch is when asking to pay for DLC content that is essentially required? Black Ops is a good example. We were kind of touching on it almost right now with Borderlands. I mean, a lot of people bought a $60 game that wasn't going, but DLC aside, Andrew, you've probably seen a lot more of this than I have.
I would say it's usually primarily with shooters, and that's kind of, I do feel gimped, but what choice do I have? Do I miss out on the biggest shooter because they don't want to launch with all the maps? I mean, asked me that question a year ago and I'd have a different answer because right now everyone's kind of going the path of free DLC, free DLC, free DLC. So when they do launch Lite, I know that I'm not going to have to pay for anything in the future.
Pre-orders, day one DLC.
Yeah. But I mean, a year ago when, Battlefield whatever launches with 4 maps and nothing else, and I feel like it's a part of the issue, same as patch culture, where people are just trying to get out there. They're trying to get out there in the right quarter, and they just want to get their money and get it now to make investors happy. It's the same exact kind of thing where put the game out now, we'll finish it later, whether that be a patch or whether that be we add more story elements to something. I kind of would like to see maybe one of your examples because I really can't think of a
Black Ops
story. No, well, I mean maybe something more story driven.
Because
Blackout had nothing. That game had no story. That only had online multiplayer. And then the zombies mode too. The online multiplayer was free, but I felt like they didn't. They didn't add much. I felt like, in a way, maybe I got my money's worth because I played a lot of it. But at the same time, I can't help but feel like there should have been a lot more fucking maps. So it's a bit of both. I had my fun times with it, but I guess feel spurned by it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's bullshit. Bottom line, I think it's garbage. I don't think any of these games. Two minds of it. One is if it's a game that they're sticking with and going to be building on for the next 3, 4, 5 years, and you bought in at 60, and then 100 increases it, and then over the next X amount of years, you're getting your longevity gameplay out of it versus any type of sports game that requires it. Any type of another one was how fucked was Star Wars Battlefront when it came out and everybody said this game was unplayable unless you bought what I don't know if you want to call it DLC or whatever,
or even Battlefields before that, where
it's
all
like,
the DLC
bullshit.
separates people from lobbies.
Yeah, this game should not exist if it's unplayable to the mass public that purchased it at the initial price that you bought. But I mean, it's a hard thing because I can't even answer it. Because what do you do? I mean, these guys have deadlines. These guys have dates. There's money banking on it. If they don't release it, they're fucked. If they do release it and it gets bad press, but people buy it anyway, they got their money, and you'll get your fill. I don't know. It's a shitty way to look at it, but I don't know what you would do to fix it.
I have a different mindset now about something like that because we're doing what we're doing with the show. So it's either A, I miss talking about the biggest game and either liking it or shitting on it because it's missing the content, but no matter what, I'm still paying for it. Or B, we just don't talk about it and don't have an opinion about it at all and just don't have anything to say about what is out there that's something I am potentially interested in. Yeah. I'll say Black Ops 4 is a unique case, and that one is a shitty case because there's no story, even though they came out and said however many people, percentage of people don't play the story or don't finish it or whatever the reason may be, because I finish every Call of Duty story there is, whether it be good or bad. But yeah, no, that is a pretty shitty thing, and I actually only ended up playing Black Ops, the outbreak, or not the outbreak mode, the blackout mode. I didn't really play it online too much, and I didn't really do the zombie mode too much. And the blackout mode is literally just one map. So yeah, thinking about it now, at the time I was upset paying $60, but it's so far from my memory now, and I played so many other good games that it's hard for me to get mad at it. If you were to tell me to pick these games on my top list that did it right, that game definitely would not fucking be on it. And I essentially paid $60 for one map.
And that's the other thing. Another big thing is, if it's all about your budget too. Imagine if you can only afford a couple games, a year or 1 month, whatever it is, and you bought a game that is half cooked, half baked, and you're like anyone that bought Anthem, and that was your game for the next 2 months.
Yeah, no. So that's another one. That one was another one.
That's a huge one.
That's a long term investment, and that game which just did not have it at launch. It didn't. If you have enough at launch, at least I will say Rainbow Six Siege, perfect example. Launched a little bit light on the content, but it had enough there to where it was fun, engaging, and that game is absolutely thriving now. However many years later, I think that game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You build on a couple years, you got your money's worth, or even Ghost Recon Outbreak. You have to now get a free DLC.
You have to start good enough, and I will also say too, if we're gonna have that conversation, it depends on the price point, because PUBG, I love to death, launched at $20. I didn't mind paying the $20 for the one map, playing that over and over and over, and now I have like 5 different maps that I play on, and I haven't had to pay a cent more.
Yeah, price and budget matter. And did you hear the Anthem? This could have been a riff. I don't know if it was the CEO, whoever stepped in.
They like scrapped their...
Yeah, their 5-year plan is done. And they're going back and refocusing on the core mechanics. It's like, you fucking should have done that before the game came out. You never should have released a fucking 5-year plan. But I mean, I look at it in terms of maybe that's almost like their clickbait. Hey, this game's gonna come out 5 years. It's kind of got you to buy it. So, it's fucked up, I think.
As far as Root answered your question, if you do it wrong, like Anthem or Call of Duty Black Ops, then
or Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah, it's stupid. I hate it. I don't think that it deserves to be there.
But you do a Rainbow Six Siege.
If you do it right, and whoever's opinion you think is right, Rainbow Six Siege, PUBG, then that's perfectly fine for me.
So, Marlito, jump in and give us a few more examples too, because I'm curious I tried looking up a few games to see. I
can't think of like a single player.
Yeah, it's not my head at all. Yeah. So I kind of want to see if there's more out there. So send us that. Sammy G is the next question asked, and she asks, "What video game do you think deserves to have a sequel?" Now, there's a game that I played on the 360. It was called Kingdoms of Amalur, if I'm saying it right. Amalur, I believe. It was an awesome action RPG kind of game. You could dive into the way you build your character, the way you did your magic. It was fucking sick. And the beauty was it had the creative talent of R.A. Salvatore, who's an awesome fantasy writer, if anyone's read that, Dritz, and The Crimson Shadow, I believe. Todd McFarlane, who did the awesome penning on Spider-Man, does Spawn. Yeah. And then Ken Rolston, who did a lot of the development on the Elder Scrolls series. So this game, which I believe is now backwards compatible on the Xbox One, so you can play it on the 360, was awesome. I remember playing this at my old roommate Tim's house. It's it was a beautiful RPG, and I hate that nobody even talks about it. It's hard. It's a really small audience when you talk to anyone that recognizes that name. So I would say go play that if you have it. It's backwards, and that is a game that I think deserves a sequel.
I will say, and I know you're going to agree, and I know Christina actually looks forward to it out there, hopefully maybe someday, would be Child of Light 2.
Oh, yeah. That's got to be coming though, right?
It's been however long. Child of Light was one of those, they call it an indie, but it's not. It's from like Ubisoft, but it's made with a smaller budget. It was an RPG style, almost kind of like Final Fantasy, except for not 100 hours long. I think it was about like a 20-hour game, maybe.
Worth every minute of it, man.
It was like a drawn art style, turn-based, beautiful game. Great story. The characters were cool. The music was amazing. Yeah. I had a lot of cool like traveling mechanics because you're like flying around too.
I love the social aspect. How you could send someone those stones. And
I sent you guys the stones
then,
after I beat it.
I smashed that fucking game after that.
So after I beat the game, I had all the overpowered stuff. I just sent it to him.
Yeah,
and
like
just let
that.
him cruise
you don't see
through.
that too often.
And then it even, for whatever reason, had like the 2-player mechanic. I don't know if you remember that.
No, I don't think I ever played
So
it
you could be the main chick. I forget what her name is, but you remember how she had like the little light sprite or whatever?
Yeah. Somebody else
That's
could do
what
that?
the second player could do, and they're like blinding the enemies and stuff like that, cool. And like heal you and whatever. So I mean, I don't think it was like much or meant to be anything great, but that is a game I would love to see a sequel of.
Excellent. So
something in that vein.
Thank you for the question, and I'd love in the comments if you jump down and tell us what your game that deserves a sequel. Anyone watching this video, jump in and tell me what your sequel game is, because that is a conversation that we could almost have a whole Q&A video on. So
I would say moving forward, if you guys ask a question like that, include your answer in there, because I would love to hear, instead of having to scroll through my comments now and find it as soon as you respond. But I would love to know what maybe was on your mind when you asked that.
She may have, because usually when I take the question part. So Sammy G, if you did, I apologize. But if you haven't, then jump in there, and anyone that's listening to it, I want to hear yours too. Mylito86, tell me what your most game that deserves a sequel is. And don't say a basketball game, because they come out every year. So a question from a long-time fan of the show, Connor Malone. He asks, in terms of games with hype, but I'm afraid... In terms of games with hype, but I'm afraid I'm thinking Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I want it to be good so bad, but really worried what it'll be like considering the response generally to EA Star Wars games. Are you guys looking forward to it? I think maybe I missed a sentence or two in that, but essentially I guess the gist of your question is there any game with big hype about that we're nervous may or may not deliver? So, Andrew, why don't you take lead on that one?
I would actually probably have the same answer, because I am looking forward to it.
Anything EA does right now, I'm nervous.
Yeah, I'm crazy nervous about it. I mean, that's got to be the game.
Yeah, because what else? I'm sure we had an episode a couple back. It had to, or unless it was a conversation me and you just had. But EA could have done so much different with Star Wars, and this is the route that they decided to take. And once we finally saw the trailer and the gameplay, I've been settled on my disposition on it. I think it looks good. I think it plays good. It's just, how's EA gonna fuck this up? It's kind of the question you're asking. More of will EA do it? It's like, how are they gonna mess it up? Because they've messed up every other thing so far. Especially we're just talking about like Battlefront 1.
Yeah, right. If using your answer isn't allowed, I will go with something different, and I will choose Elden Ring on a more personal note. Because that
was the game last week that I was trying to think of.
I am a hardcore. I absolutely love the Dark Souls series and Sekiro. I love what Miyazaki's done. Those games are on a different pedestal for me, to where this game, I have it hyped up so much in my head that until I see gameplay or anything, I'm worried that it could be anything. It could be something that I absolutely hate. Maybe I'm just not ready for. Even though he's got to make different games out there, there's nothing out there that's like Dark Souls right now, to where we just got Sekiro at the start of this year, but it was just different that maybe I'm afraid I'll end up hating it. Because I almost hated Sekiro at first, because I was like, this isn't what I'm wanting. Like, I just don't get it. It didn't click with me at first until I finally just understood what it was. So that's a different game that I really want to see more of. So I'm not afraid because of what we've seen. I'm afraid because I haven't seen anything of it yet, that I don't know what it's going to be, and if it's going to be something that I'm personally going to enjoy, because what he makes to me is all God tier games.
Yeah, and if anyone is unfamiliar with the name, it's the game that George R.R. Martin, creator of Game of Thrones, has been kind of partnered up on the writing with to develop. So it came out on E3 with the kind of small little trailer
on the Xbox stage.
Yeah, no gameplay because it's probably going to be a turn-based card game. And Andrew's not looking for that.
Like Metal Gear Acid.
If I could throw something else out there just to kind of tweak the question, because since we kind of touched on it today, is the Stadia is the biggest thing I'm hyped on. I bought my pre-order. I know Sam bought his. I know Gino bought his. I'm so hyped on that. And in my heart of hearts, I feel like it's going to flop horribly. And the most I'm going to get out of that is a Chromecast Ultra for 100.
It'll make a good story.
Can't wait to review that. So I think you were completely right. I don't think any other game heightens that. Elden Ring is right behind that with something that we have no gameplay based on.
Immediately right now,
Stadia would be my answer
Star
in terms
Wars.
of next project that's around the corner in
Actually,
November.
I think it looks like shit, so I kind of don't really care for it, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there would be Death Stranding.
Oh, I'm done talking about Death Stranding. Done. So, Connor Malone, thank you for the question, my man. And last but not least is a newcomer to the show, Brian Serafino. In a follow-up from his question last week, he says, the reason I asked your guys' schedule, I feel I don't have time to finish games. I have stupid, ridiculous amount of games waiting to be beat. It definitely doesn't help that I like to cruise and admire the game. So my next question is, what advice do you have for gamers to help them complete their library? I feel like we softly touched on that the last time, right? It was kind of manage your time. It was prioritize. It was, luckily, maybe if you have a spouse or someone that does that. Is there any more you want to add to that, Andrew?
I'll tell you right now what maybe helps me too, especially if you kind of get into a funk, is break it up into chunks. So if I'm just getting off of like a 40-hour game, 50-hour game, I will go to howlongtobeat.com, and you can type in any game in there, and it has like the average time of how long the game takes to beat. And I feel like that helps me cruise the games because then I know I can manage my time and I know how long I should expect to play with this game. So I do that between like a lot of different games. So like right now Borderlands is kind of a little bit a longer one that I'm going to go through my backlog, how long to beat it, and find something that's a little bit shorter, maybe a lot shorter, and just run through it. And then that kind of makes me feel like I'm not getting caught up. I'm not getting stuck in just long game after long game after long game after long game. You know, you feel like you're really getting a lot more accomplished because you're accomplishing one, you're accomplishing another one right back to back, and then you're back into a long drive.
I would to mirror Andrew's question and to add on top of it is I was in the exact funk and getting someone to help motivate you because how long was I doing backlog after backlog after backlog game and big game after big game? And I remember telling Andrew one time I was just like, dude, I'm kind of just tapped out, dude. I'm done like just playing these games. Like I'm catching up and I'm falling behind. And he's like, dude, just fuck playing that. Play. I forget the game you told me to play. It was a quicker game. It was a newer game.
It was Titanfall 2.
Was it Titanfall 2?
Yeah, because I told you to cruise through it because you can do it in 5 hours.
Yeah, because I've got an actual list of backlog games that I'm crossing off. I don't know how you're doing it. And Andrew just kind of was like, hey man, play this. You know, get someone else to maybe pick a game on. I don't know if you have Game Pass or if you play on the PS4 or you have
have someone recommend
someone
something.
throw a dart at a game and go, hey man, play this. Get out of your element, and then do that, and then get back into the mode of grinding out games and doing it. But don't let it overwhelm you, because that's what it did for me. You want that backlog is overwhelming. Get it off your mind, and then jump back in and dive into it, and then you'll just see that you're kind of clearing games a little faster.
The final note I'll add to it is don't be afraid to put it on easy. Like, who are you trying to impress? Like, I have my gaming achievements. I have my certain things. I have my 100% at Dark Souls, 100% at Sekiro. So I have my pedestal, like, hey, if you're gonna challenge me like, oh, you're just not good at games or whatever, I'll show you, hey, I've done these games that are incredibly fucking hard. So I'll choose easy every time there's an option to do it because I have so many games to play through. Right now on Borderlands 3, I'm not afraid to say it. I put on whatever the easy setting is on there because that's what I want from that game. I don't want a challenge.
And there's no achievement for beating it on the regular.
Yeah, well, if there was an achievement for beating on regular, I digress. I would beat it on regular. If you're an achievement hunter, that's a different conversation. If you're not, don't be afraid to put it on easy. There's no point. There's no one to challenge. There's no one to impress but yourself. You know, you're doing it for you.
Yeah, especially because like you said, you like looking at the game and enjoying it. Why waste 10 extra minutes on a battle you could have beaten when you could be out in Horizon Zero Dawn enjoying that open world, playing God of War in that open world, playing Spider-Man in that open world instead of focusing on a boss fight that's 10 minutes too long or that maybe you've died on 2 times too long.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's more memorable for me is the experience of a game that I did and had a fun time with than me remembering a section of a game because it's so fucking hard that I died a million times over and over and over and over and had to keep doing.
Yeah, so Brian, I love where your heart's at, man. It sounds like you want to play your games, but you got some obstacles. But as much help as we can give you, man, Last Call Gaming's here to give it to you. Prioritize, play the game on a gentle difficulty, and do it at your own pace, man. You're not on anyone's schedule, and you're not trying to impress anybody on beating it on the hardest difficulty. Right. So I hope that helps out. But Andrew, we're getting real close to our time limit. I think we're going to go over it, but that's fine. We have to announce our new giveaway. And originally, I'm glad we didn't say it last week, because originally we knew what it was going to be, but Andrew brought it to my attention that he wants to do something a little different for you guys because we appreciate you guys as the fans. So why don't you announce what it's going to be and how we're going to do it?
So this time, what we're going to do, because it's coming up so close, actually, we didn't count out the votes like we should have, and I asked you to before the show, and then we forgot.
For what?
How many times they'll have to vote before it gets to it.
Keep talking.
It's because we started watching that damn G4 video.
Yeah, it was a good one. Anything that has to do with Olivia Munn and my boy Kevin Pereira and a little bit of Morgan Webb and Adam Sess, I'm in.
But anyways, we're going to be giving away copies of
I think it's 5.
Of Modern Warfare. So
it'll be on big bold one, baby,
on the console of your choice. And we're not gonna do one, we're gonna actually give out 2. So keep entering like you normally enter, 1 entry per video, and then as soon as we're done, we'll do the same thing we did last time. I'll pull a name from a hat, that's 1, pull a name from a hat, that's another, and again, we'll ship it out directly to you.
So guys, so 2 games we're giving away. Call of Duty, which is now going to be the best FPS coming out. So if you're looking forward to that, tell a friend, tell a spouse, make another account and chime in for the competition, because we're giving away 2. So like Andrew said, it's going to be the same way as last time, right? Same things, but we're going to pull out 2 names and 2 people are going to win it, because we saw many of you guys were in for the Switch. It broke our hearts that we couldn't give it to all the guys that out there really wanted it. So we are giving away 2 of them. So 2 of you guys have a chance for that. So
just to throw in 2, this is not technically the first video. No, if you actually go back to our last one, just to reiterate, go to our last video where we did the Switch giveaway.
So maybe
type in #COD is perfectly fine, and that'll give you an entry. I think it's the end of October.
Okay, so if it's the 24th, and they got 1, 2, 3. I believe it's 6, and I'm sure someone in the comments will correct us if I'm wrong. I'm going to say 6 for now. If it's not, we'll address that in the next one. I should have had it right
25th. Now. Okay, I thought it was 26th. Yes. 25th.
So if they had 1 last week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so 6 entries, and on that last week, we will announce the winner. So, guys, 2 entries, or 2 winners for every entry you do. So make sure you guys enter. So that is it for the end of this episode, Andrew. Pretty solid stuff, I think. So, guys, if you have any other questions, send them to LastCallProductionz@gmail.com. Send them to our Instagram at LastCallProductionz, our Twitter at LastCallProdz, our Facebook page, LastCallProductionz, or at LastCall928. And if you guys are interested in listening to this when you drive, you can check out the audio version only podcast at Castbox. So until next time, guys, my name is Craig Perales. That is Mandrew Montemayor. Cheers.
And that Switch Lite coming out today. I'm going to go pick it up. Be to you soon. I enjoy the birds and the bee drills, but for right now, I need the fucking COD and the Borderlands 3.
You're a little, so close yet so far-fetched.
Oh, did you see that there's a new Far-Fetched Evolution?
No, he finally got a spin-off?
Yeah, I think his stick is just longer.
No, don't make it fucking...
He's weak as fuck looking.
And his type doesn't change? He doesn't go from fucking normal to...
I don't
normal
think so.
Dark? Or normal... what the fuck? What did he ever do?
Nothing.
He wasn't even that fast to be like a Mr. Miyagi. Oh, I see. They made him white. Great.
Oh yeah, he did change colors.
Yeah, he's brown. He was like a duck, and then now
he
he's
has
like
a little mohawk, and he just has like
what's his name?
I don't know, but he looks fucking stupid.
Sir
It's a
Fetch.
sword and a shield. Oh,
he's a knight.
Oh,
He's a
it's
knight.
still fucking lame.
It's stupid, but I get it.
But I mean, you have to do something with him. He was never a good Pokemon to begin with. Do you ever think it's weird to?
Oh no, you should do something with Lapras before you ever do something.
No, Lapras is cool. Lapras is insane.
But I'm saying if you're gonna take all, because how many singles are left again from 150? Not. I don't know any of the later stuff. I can maybe do the next 150 in terms of keys, but original 150. How many are left that aren't touched anymore? Lapras.
I think Snorlax.
No, there's Munchlax.
Oh yeah,
That's what I'm saying. There's
right. Okay, so
the only things I can think of are the
legendary birds.
Aerodactyl, the legendaries, Pinsir, because even Scyther is
no, Scyther got.
No, I'm saying even Scyther's gone. He's off the table.
Yeah, I was like he got the steel one, but that was in gold.
Have they done anything with Kangaskhan? Is there a baby Kangaskhan?
I don't think so. Onyx got Steelix.
But I would much have a
Tangela.
Lapras. No, there's Tangle Growth.
There's another one?
Yeah, there's a bigger fucking...
That fucking guy didn't do shit in the first place. What's he doing now?
He's not... I don't even think he has Vine Whip.